Chapter 30. The Decay Zone. What happens when you go too far into a level in the Backrooms? I stared at the sea of decaying and crumbling cubicles ahead of me as I contemplated whether or not going in there was a good idea. Do I go in? I said nervously as I struggled to keep my curiosity at bay. What if there is an exit somewhere in there? I said quietly as I trailed off, trying to find a situation where I wasn't risking my life over something I didn't even know existed, as I turned around to face the dull, modernistic sea of cubicles I had been venturing through for the past 12 hours or so. I guess it's something new, I mumbled as I stared at the sea of white and gray that stretched on infinitely ahead. I don't really want to walk back either, I said as I struggled to find the right choice. Wait, what if the exit really is there? What if those mysterious mushrooms are here too? I don't want to miss out on this secret info. I want to be the first one to see it, I said as I hesitantly exited the slightly crumpled cubicle I was in and stood facing the sea of rotting and falling apart workspaces in front of me. I have to risk it. There isn't a better option, I said sternly as I put my foot down, facing the ominous sea of decaying office spaces ahead as I forced myself to stay strong. I'm going in, I said with as much confidence as I could as I began walking towards the sea of crumbling workstations beyond the area I was in. Fear blossomed within my thoughts as it dragged my confidence away bit by bit, causing me to grow paranoid. Just keep walking, I said to myself as I tried to reassure myself, pushing to go further as I glanced at the dull, white expanse of cubicles behind me. Nausea whirled in my stomach as my heart pounded in my chest, confirming that I was becoming uneasy and afraid as I slowly walked down the hallway. The air grew colder as goosebumps spread up my arms and legs, making me shiver as I got chills. Shit, it's getting cold, I said as I rubbed my hands together, looking around at the decaying area around me. The place I was in was exactly where I was, but the cubicles were covered in rot and mold, most of them cracking or crumbling as they slowly deteriorated into nothing. The carpet was damp and covered with unidentifiable stains that littered the floor. The air was heavy and cold, and the overpowering stench of decay and stale air suffocated me. I already don't like this, I mumbled softly as I looked around nervously, constantly scanning for threats as my feet slowly drifted over the damp gray carpet. I scrunched my nose as the smell of rotting plant life filled my senses. Is that mushrooms? I thought to myself as I slowed to a stop and looked around, searching for the source of the horrible smell as my eyes skimmed over the crumpled, abandoned cubicles. I grew lightheaded as the smell began to suffocate me. I have to keep going, even with this horrible smell, I said sternly as I sniffed lightly and began walking again. My eyes darted over the pale white cubicle walls as they scanned the cracks and stained spots. What? As they scanned the cracks and stained spots for signs of life. Okay, damn. My mind focusing on finding the mysterious mushrooms as I blindly walked down the dimly lit office sector. The cubicles around me became a continuous blur as they all grew more and more decayed, causing the uneasy feeling in my stomach to grow worse as I glanced around nervously. Why is it all starting to fall apart? I said anxiously as my eyes darted around, bouncing off the walls and floor as I searched for signs of movement or signs of possible life. My head began to spin as I slowed to a stop, feeling like I was going to vomit as I decided to observe the area around me before I continued. It's all decayed, I said in rising shock as I took in the area around me. The bright white panels from the front of the level had become a dirty and yellowed mess, flickering every couple of seconds as they buzzed faintly. The ceiling tiles were rotted and covered in unidentifiable stains and gave off a weak smell of rotting foam. The carpet was slightly darker gray and had an overpowering stench of wet carpet and mildew, the once dry, light gray floor becoming a damp, stain-covered mess left to rot away with the rest of the section. The air was heavy and filled with eerie, dust-like particles that gave off a musky scent that filled the entire area of the level. My eyes watered as I tried to avoid breathing through my nose, struggling to stay away from the overpowering smells of decay as I continued to look around. The cubicles were messy and destroyed, as if someone had left in a rush after searching for something as pens and papers littered the floor. The cubicle walls were crusty white and were filled with cracks and holes, most of them having completely fallen apart at the edges as they decayed over time. The entire area felt unsafe and unpredictable, causing me to want to turn back. No, I already entered. I'm not walking back. If I want to leave this level, I have to keep going, and I'm pretty sure that research log from the BEO said the mysterious mushrooms are further out, so that's where I'm going, I told myself as I began to walk again, keeping my eyes ahead as I took in my surroundings, scanning and listening for threats as I searched for more cool stuff. I wonder if there are more than just 2. They did say a lot was classified, I said curiously as I began taking more time scanning the walls and floors for classified fungi. Wait, I said in shock, my eyes falling upon a crowbar that lay 30 feet ahead in the middle of the corridor. What the hell is that doing there? I said to myself as I jogged over to it, almost running out of breath as I approached the mysteriously placed tool. Did someone put this here? I muttered as I picked up the crowbar and turned it over in my hands. The cold metal was covered in rust and had hundreds of chips and scratches from possible years of use. It definitely doesn't seem new, I said aloud as I gripped the crowbar with both hands and got into a fighting stance. I inhaled nervously before swinging it with full force, causing the crowbar to whistle through the air as it took out the entire top right chunk of the cubicle wall next to me. My shoulders grew sore as I let the crowbar hang loosely in my hand as I stared at the damage in awe. A little crowbar did that? I'm keeping this, I said instantly as I removed my backpack and set it on the ground, opening the largest side pocket as I slid it inside and zipped it up the best I could. It won't fully close, but it'll do, I said calmly as I slung my bag over my shoulder, the weight of the crowbar throwing off my balance a bit as I adjusted it until I was comfortable. There we go, I said happily as I turned to face the way I came. A thick fog had settled over the area behind me, making it so I couldn't see how far I had walked so far. Stupid fog, I said angrily as I turned around and began walking deeper into the level again. The air grew colder as the smell of decay grew more intense, making my nausea worse. I'm actually gonna vomit, I said as I choked back tears, trying to repel the foul scents around me as I slowly walked down the empty, decaying hallway separating the cubicles nearby. I sped up a bit, hoping the smell would go away if I went deeper as I looked around nervously. Nothing has gone wrong for Fuck, damn, this is written so weird. I'll have to fix that after I'm done with this video. Nothing has gone wrong yet for at least an hour now, though. It kind of worries me, I said softly as I nervously searched for any signs of life or danger. If all the entities are gone, should I really be here? I said fearfully as I began to slow down, regretting my decisions as I glanced behind me. The fog was thicker and slowly crept after me as fear began to control my thoughts and behaviors. Oh, I lost my spot. Sorry. I should leave, I said as I took a step back, eyeing the fog as I struggled to decide whether or not I was safe or not. If I go further in, it'll just get scarier and more creepy, but if I go back, I'm just losing all that progress, I said to myself as I anxiously watched the fog grow closer. I glanced around, my eyes darting over the decaying cubicles around me before returning to face the fog as I took a deep breath and sighed painfully. I don't know what to do, I said as I teared up. My head spun as I tried not to cry, knowing if I did, I'd be weaker than I already was. There was no period at the end of that sentence. I gotta fucking fix that. There we go. Done. Don't cry, I said to myself as I stared at the ominous expanse of decaying spaces around me. A lump rose in my throat as I choked back tears, causing one to slowly roll down my cheek as my arms and legs grew shaky. My lips quivered as I broke down. I'm so fucking scared. Where am I? What did I even do it? I didn't sign up for this. I'm just a teen. I can't handle this. I cried as I dropped to my knees, soaking the knee part with my worn and dirt-ridden jeans as I fell to the ground. I just want a way out of here. I'm not strong enough to do this anymore. What did I even do to deserve this, man? Oh, now I'm crying like a little baby because I can't handle anything that has any amount of a challenge put to it. I whimpered as I trailed off, tears streaming down my face as I sat on the damp carpet with my knees absorbing the moisture as I cried in complete isolation. I just want to leave. I don't see why that's such a problem, I said sadly as I raised my hand and carefully wiped my tears, sniffling softly as I looked up from the ground. The air was chilly and dense, making me feel suffocated as I stared on my knees in the middle of the decaying corridor. I have to get going again, I said sadly as I wiped the last of my tears and slowly got to my feet, facing the decaying sea of cubicles ahead as I took a deep breath and began walking again. Section 2, Break 1. I walked silently through the decaying area of the level, gathering my thoughts as I took in my surroundings and listened for any sounds of approaching danger, keeping my eye on things as I made my way deeper into the endless sea of cubicles I had been venturing through for the past 17 hours or so. This sucks, I said as I broke the silence, making me get chills as I heard my voice for the first time after 5 hours of complete silence. This place really gives me the creeps, I said nervously as I walked down the decaying, lifeless corridors that stretched on into the far distance. It just gets more and more decayed, I muttered as I observed the now almost completely destroyed cubicles around me. As I realized how far I was walking into such an unpredictable and dangerous place. I'm like a day in, it's too late to go back, but God, what do I do? I said to myself as I began trying to make a plan of escape. There has to be a way out, especially out this deep into the level. Why have I not found a door or gate or no-clipped yet? I said hopefully as I struggled to cling on to any sanity I had left. My stomach churned as my muscles grew tired and weak, causing me to gradually slow down. It's been 3 hours, sorry. Causing me to gradually slow down over time. I slowed to a stop and looked around, scanning for danger before exhaling and dropping my backpack to the floor. I need a rest break, I said as exhaustion quickly took over my body with every passing second. I took a couple of deep breaths before sitting cross-legged next to my bag, observing what was around me as I tried to avoid smelling anything. I wish I had a sandwich, not gonna lie. I muttered to myself as I unzipped my bag and grabbed one of the granola bars and a bottle of almond water. I took in the area around me as I opened my small meal and took a bite of my granola, chewing slowly as I let my thoughts free. What's all this classified shit? It's so weird. Why is it even classified? No, there's no way a mushroom is more dangerous than some of the living things here. I said to no one but myself as I took another bite of my granola bar and looked around. Not to mention, this place is suddenly falling apart and decayed like it's fucking diseased. I muttered as I swallowed my food and unscrewed the lid on the bottle of almond water I had next to me. I shifted my position, trying to get comfortable on the damp, hard-carpeted floor as I tried to relax. I sat in silence for a moment as I took a few more bites of my food, washing down the dry and chewy granola with the almond water as I gathered my thoughts. Wonder why some useless fungi is classified information. I mumbled as I crumbled up my granola wrapper and stuffed it in my bag, not wanting to litter as I screwed the cap onto my bag. I mumbled as I crumpled up my granola bar wrapper and stuffed it in my bag, not wanting to litter as I scrubbed. I'm gonna take an hour-long break after this. I got 4 more videos to record, dude. I gotta finish this arc tonight. I got vacation at 4 in the fucking morning. I got 6 hours. Okay. I wonder why some useless fungus is classified information. I mumbled as I crumpled up my granola wrapper and stuffed it in my bag, not wanting to litter as I screwed the cap back onto my half-finished bottle of almond water and got to my feet. I want to see this shit for myself, I scoffed as I slung my bag over my shoulder and began to walk deeper into the level again, not thinking of what could be ahead as I pushed down without thought in hopes to somehow reach the end.